My name is Blake. I originally come from near here, near Manchester, in a little town called Bolton. But at the minute, I am down in London because I'm at uni, and my pronouns are he, him. I am 20 now. In terms of my experiences coming out as trans, it didn't really start from, say, when I was 10 years old or whatever, because I don't remember a lot of that in terms of how I felt as a child. Kind of came out a lot more when I went to an all-girls private school. We went to a sexual health clinic and they got me on the list, which is the list that you're on for like 6 years of your life. And I heard absolutely nothing from the NHS for months and months and months. And I was like, I can't do this. When I was submitting that form out, I wasn't really thinking about, I was just kind of like going through the motions. I was like, this is something that I have to do. I think I wrote down the answers to the questions about 1,000,000 times because in the back of my mind, I still had the mentality of, I need to prove to them that I'm trans. I was bringing back my feelings about the NHS to GenderGP, and then I figured out it wasn't like that. And I just kind of hit the submit button, and then maybe like an hour or two later it hit me and I was like, oh, this is actually a thing that I'm gonna do. I'm actually going ahead with this, even if my parents aren't like on board with me or whatever. I'm like taking control now, and that was quite empowering. So in terms of affordability, back when I got on with GenderGP, they did this amazing thing where they've streamlined the process a lot. So I think there's less middlemen almost, where we have to pay so many times. Now I'm just paying really for the prescription and then for my testosterone. Back then I think I was paying prescription, something else, and then the testosterone. It was kind of like iffy if I could afford it. I remember putting it on, and that was like crazy. I was like, oh my god, I'm putting it on for the first time. I thought all these sort of crazy changes were gonna come at once, and they didn't. Actually, they came quite quickly though, to be fair. I remember my voice cracking. That was one of the main things, and I was like, oh, this is quite fun. This is kind of scary, but this is quite fun. I did forcibly make my voice crack on multiple occasions because I thought it was funny. I think it definitely took a couple of months for me to start seeing some changes first. I think the voice crack was one of the main things, and my voice didn't get deeper until like half a year till a year on T. But that's just me, I think, because I started off on quite a low dose, and then obviously I've brought it up a little bit, and now I'm not even on the gel. I'm on shots now, which for those out there who absolutely hate needles, it does get better. I remember one of the first times doing a shot and I passed out, which probably doesn't help, but I've not passed out and I've been doing it for a good few months now, so progress. I did want to bring up, I think it was in terms of, it comes up with a bit of self-doubt, but it's somewhere where I'm at now. My friend mentioned it to do with tattoos. He said a big thing is tattoos are there permanently and with you forever. But my friend said to me, this tattoo right here, even if I hate it in 20 years time, it reminds me of where I was back then. I wanted it back then, and it made me feel good back then. And I apply this to my transition and how I feel. What I'm doing right now with having testosterone, I'm considering getting top surgery. It's for me right now, and I know at least in the next few years I'm gonna be in that same position. But even if I'm in a slightly different position in 30 years down the line, I'd remember the decisions I've made now and be like, I did that so I could feel okay in that moment in time. There's no use worrying about a future, because if I didn't do this right now, there might not have been a future for me. So in terms of self-doubt, what I'm doing right now is for me. If I feel different in a few months' time, if I feel like my gender's shifting slightly, it's part of the process. It's okay to feel like that. But at this moment in time, this is who I am, this is what I'm doing. And if I look back in 30 years' time, I'll know that it was a good decision for me to make in the position I am today. I mean, I could say it's a bit different for me. Trust yourself, I guess. A lot of people don't want you to hide yourself from them. I'm dating someone who was a friend last year, but I was just myself to them from the get-go. And we're dating now, and it's going really well. But say if I'd hidden quite a bit about myself, could have gone the entirely different way. The worst thing, I think, is shrouding yourself in a veil when people could be seeing how cool you are. And I know if you're afraid because you're pre-T or you're pre-estrogen or whatever, it can be a big thing. You can feel like how people perceive you is going to be very difficult. But I think in terms of relationships, people see past that. If someone's interested in you, if someone's in love with you, they see your core, they don't see your outside. It's like, don't judge a book before you read it. They want to read the book. They want to look into you, rather than just like look at who you are on the outside, because they know who you are on the inside as well. I probably wouldn't really be in this position now if it wasn't for GenderGP. Thanks for giving me my power back. Thanks for giving me my control of my life. Thanks for being there, because when I have my follow-up sessions, they've been very responsive and very kind. I had the same person a couple of times, and he recognized me, and it was nice having that. Someone who knew me, even after a few months, being able to talk to them quite freely. And I never double guessing me, that's a massive thing. I did not need someone double guessing me after coming out, and like my parents and stuff give me self-doubt. The self-doubt was like insane. But I'm glad that GenderGP and the people here have just fully accepted it, never been like, yeah, but are you sure you want to go ahead with this? Are you sure you're capable and you know where you want to go? Yes, I am sure. I've known since I was 14, or at least I've known to an extent that this is where I want to be at now.